but I now have the correct size hole saw. And this is just blue styrofoam that you buy at Costco, not Costco, but Home Depot or Menards, someplace like that, Lowe's. One thing interesting, though, the theory is the water, because this system has a lot of thermal mass in it. I mean, the floor itself is a lot of thermal mass. I'm going to put a water heater, solar water heater, and I'm going to coil it into the floor for wintertime. And between the paving blocks, 300 gallons of water in there, and each one of these is 110 gallons, is what I figured it out at. That's 500 there, plus the 200 gallons that are in the two filters. We're talking about a massive amount of water to keep it warm in here. And last winter, I had lettuce. My wife and my tenants were getting lettuce out of this. Just before I went to my job down in Florida, I planted some lettuce, that stuff, and it came up. And it kept them with lettuce, my neighbors next door, with lettuce in December, January, February. So that was pretty cool. You know. And I didn't have the setup that I have now. So it was sort of like this, but it wasn't quite as ready to go. So I'm sure it frozen here, but lettuce can take cool weather because it warms up in the day. It might be 20 degrees or 10 degrees outside. The sun hits this thing, it zips up probably in the 40s, which is okay for lettuce. It'll take a long time to grow, though. It's not going to be ready in 30 days like you might think. It might take it 65, might take it 95 days, depending on the variety. But it will grow. So it's pretty neat.
Shoot, I had a question in my brain and then it just left.
Oh,
yeah. So explain the spray foam and the netting.
Okay. All right, yeah. So I forget all these things. See, I see it all the time. The foam insulation that I sprayed on there should have been done right after I built it. But again, I wasn't ready for it. Wasn't at that stage yet. So I already had plants in here. I had fish in here. I knew that I needed to insulate that. And I didn't want to use fiberglass because I didn't want all the mess with it. So I pulled everything out to where I could get, and I put plastic up over my stuff, these things. And I went down and I bought a 2-part insulation. That was $350 for 2 little canisters. So I didn't do it real thick, okay? Because I always figured I always could put more on later, maybe this fall or something before I go to my job again. So I just sprayed the inside here, and what I had left is in the shed that's on the outside, which I haven't even explained yet. But I bought one, and it wasn't mixing it right, so I started out there just as a test, and I would spray it on, and I kept spraying, so I turned around, I kept going like this, and I turned around and I expected it to look like that. The 2 parts weren't mixing, it just started dripping on everything. It was a mess, and so that's what you'll see out there.
So the purpose of that then is to keep the warmth here, or to protect the fish?
The insulation is on the north side because that's where most cold winds come from.
Okay.
Now, in that little shed that I got over here, I'm going to start building 8-foot sheds instead of a 4-foot shed. That was just kind of a little area. But it's got a full roof on it. It's shingles and everything. And I'm going to insulate the whole walls too. What that'll do is an additional barrier for the north winds when they come in the wintertime. So there's going to be another layer of insulation on here. And the roof goes up right about there. So you're only looking at about 20%, not even that, of the roof that's exposed to the air. So, and then it'll all be insulated and everything else under it too. So that's kind of what happened. Hey, Ben.
The netting?
The netting. I got that about 3 weeks ago because I came in here one day and it was like 105 or 10 degrees. I didn't have that up there. I had another one that I broke. And it was too early in the year to have that kind of weather. And so I went online and I found this. This costs, I ordered it out of someplace, Wisconsin, I think. $78, $80 for this. It's a 12 by 24 piece. And I'll tell you, I put it on, it got hot again the next day, the temperature dropped. It got up to 90, low 90s. That's a lot cooler. The plants can tolerate 90s. They don't like stale air, 100, 105, 110 degrees. You know, so that's what that's on there for. And then also as the fall comes and the sun's not as intense, I'll take it off. But also too, now I forgot to mention it. On the outside, I put up this flower bed all the way around, most of the way around, and I put compost in it. And I'm going to mix dirt and other things too. But part of the idea is I've got beans growing right up next to it. You can go out and look around and see all these beans growing up, and peas. And they're going to grow up, and they'll also cover up part of it as well. And that also gives me another place to harvest some extra food and stuff like that. So that worked out kind of neat. And I've got a lot of plants going out there now.
You plan on putting any